nonprofit that was started in 2021 here in Sandpoint. I started the nonprofit after my 25-year-old son Ethan was killed in a mental health crisis. Our big dream and goal here in Sandpoint is to have a crisis center, so there's somewhere to take our loved ones when it's needed. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I have to write this down. Usually I can wing it, but I'm a little nervous. Since spring of 2021, we have undertaken a series of meaningful projects addressing the critical issues such as mental health, homelessness, and youth empowerment. Our aim is to strengthen mental health services, broaden outreach efforts, and actively combat stigma associated with mental health. And my husband, Matt Connery, now will tell you a little bit about him, and yeah, your turn.
My connection with it too is I'm somebody that has depression and anxiety, and I'm a suicide survivor. So that is kind of my connection with it. Doing these kinds of things is kind of my, how I can give back for my having problems, how it makes me feel good to my family and to my community for what I put them through. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. A little nervous, sorry. So being on trail, it really helps me out. When I'm out in the woods, I don't have that depression, I don't have that anxiety. There's not one day on the trail where I have insomnia. I sleep wonderful. Being out in nature is kind of what gets me through life.
Yeah, and I just wanted to share this quote with y'all because I thought it was a good one. We get asked a lot, like when we're on trail, like, why would you do this? Like, your pictures, you look like you're in pain most of the time. Like, was it fun? Like, why would you choose this? Well, I choose it for a couple reasons, but I also believe in this quote by Eleanor Roosevelt that I think is so true, and I try to live this, and it says, do something that scares you every day. I think it's really important to take risks and to put yourself out there and do things that you normally might not think you were capable of, just to see what you actually are capable of. I have so many people come up like, oh, I could never do that, but I do believe that each and every one of you in this room could go out and do a through hike. It's more mental than physical most of the time. It's your body, your mental telling you like that hill's way harder than it is, because it happens so many times on trail where we'd run into somebody and I'd be all talky and have such a good time that I'd forget all about my pain and be able to go another 5 miles, where before I saw that person I was really struggling. So it does bring that into perspective. And yeah, so we're going to get started. We're going to dim the lights. We will be taking a 15-minute intermission. During the intermission, we're going to finish up our silent auction, so if you'd like to bid or check your bid one more time. And we're also going to have one last chance to get a raffle ticket for the Smoky Bear blanket. And just so you all know, the Smoky Bear blanket, the company donates a blanket every time I purchase one for my business, La Chic Boutique. They donate one to Bonner Homeless Transitions here in Sandpoint. It's a great blanket company. They do a great job. And so that blanket out there we are raffling off for $5 tickets or 3 for 10. So, and then if you want to grab a refreshment, and then we'll finish up the second half and we'll do questions and answers afterwards. If you want to stay for that, if you have somewhere to be, we understand we can ramble. So we're trying to keep it. I had a good friend tell me to try to get it in an hour. We really, really, really tried. So we think we're about an hour and a half. We're really going to hope that, and we're going to go for it. So let's start. So I'm not,
So a few facts. The Pacific Northwest Trail is the trail we did. It is 1,200 miles long. It starts in Chief Mountain in East Glacier, and it travels across northwest Montana, North Idaho, all the way across northern Washington to the Puget Sound area, and you end up on the coast. We did something that is called a flip-flop, where we started in Orville, Washington, and it is approximately in the middle. And, sorry, I forgot to do slides. Or a gear shot. Somewhere in the middle. And so what we did in our first half is we hiked east towards Montana. And then when we finished that section, we went back to Orville and then continued on towards the ocean the other way.
Are you going to go back to that gear shot? Because I'd like to tell the name of our quilt.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so our quilt started out snap pea because it kind of looked like snap peas between our legs. But by the time we were midway through, we started calling it stink bug because the smell from it was so bad. We were like, okay, this is not sweet pea anymore.
It's not. That's why it's still in the bag out there.
Yeah, so I hope y'all, when you did come in, we have our gear set up out there. If anyone's interested or has gear questions, we're like always love talking gear, so. Yeah.
So Josie and Dennis here took us to the Idaho Centennial Trail in 2021, and they also started off our journey.
And our friend Dan, who's in the back there, so eager to join us for the day. We're so excited. He wanted to join us for a night on the trail, so he joined as well. And him and Matt had done some hiking prior to this on the Pacific Crest Trail. So this is us starting off once we got to the beginning of Orville. Okay, sorry guys, we're going to swap spaces.
Orville is really hot and there is sagebrush, so we were trying to get that done quick. The reason we did the flip-flop is because we wanted the snow to melt in the mountains in the Olympic parks and in Glacier Park. It gives a chance for the streams to go down and beat some of the heat.
These are just some candid shots we got with Dan on the trail the next day. Filtering water can be really, you can make it fun. Okay, just so everyone knows, filtering water is a tedious act you have to do lots of times a day. So we try to make it fun when we're getting on those troughs and yeah.
So there's this little community, Havila, and they have this little church that takes care of thru hikers. And unfortunately, we got there on the second day. And they let you go in. They have a freezer full of food for you. You can throw out your gear. You can stay the night.
Yeah, it was really great. When we were coming up the road, there was this big board that said, like, please help yourself, go to stop at the church, any thru hikers on the PNT. So we really did enjoy that space and got to dry out some gear and have some hot tea and, what was it, Marine Callender's pot pie? So we chose those over the breakfast sandwiches we thought, delicious.
This is Lake Bonaparte, and it is this nice little resort.
Has anyone been there, by the way? Raise a hand. Has anyone been? I mean, we live so close to this. No one's been? It's really cool. There's a little restaurant, and there's maybe like 8 tables in the back. It's great. It has a little store, really fun camping, lots of loons on the lake. It's a great little place that isn't too far from here. Yeah, we discovered on trail. It's really fun.
It is. So as you're starting the thru hike, it takes time for you to get your trail legs and really get going. There is road walking, obviously, in this, and we were having some issues. It's easier to walk, but you're going so fast, you're able to go so fast that we're having feet problems for about the first 300 miles.
Yeah. So that included lots of breaks for my feet. No joke, yeah. And it was very hot, finding shade is also that crucial piece too, and a good place to rest. So.
And we're coming up on cows.
Yeah, does anyone know about the cow situation in
Okanagan and Colville have free-range cattle.
Oh, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. In the middle of the night, you think it's a bear, no, it's a cow.
Yeah.
They won't leave trail, they won't get off the road.
No, it's kind of like buffalo, where they're very protective of their calves. So it's kind of sketchy. You're up on a ridge and there's nowhere to go, and you're pushing cattle and they're coming at you. And stepping in cow pies.
Yeah, I had cow pies all over my legs. There was this one night we were just like going through like a very narrow path and they wouldn't move and we were scaring a calf up and it just kept laying cow pies and I slid in one and it's like all up my legs. Yeah, it was one of those. So I decided to try my air horn. By the way, it don't work all the time on cows. It did work on one that was bustling through the woods that I couldn't see coming at us. I could hear it. It was going to come out any time. I'm watching and I hit my air horn and that thing flew. It didn't even come out. It went away. But it did work on the calf. Just so everyone knows, air horns are not 100% on cows. Yeah, I tried.
In this first section we were on the Kettle Crest Ridge and we were running into thunderstorms where we'd have to hide out and they'd just hang out get stuck in a mountain for a while.
Yeah, that previous picture of us in the tent was us hiding out from the storm. It's always hard to decide if you want to like set up a tent, take shelter, get off a ridge, go for it. It's like all these decisions that you have to make in these quick moments to know what to do, because you also have to make miles and get to your next spot, and what you have food for and water.
Yes. The first 400 miles, 500 miles, it's not quite as scenic as, like you say, Glacier or the Olympics or the North Cascades, but there's all,
It's still beautiful.
it's still big, absolutely, and that's what we love about it, is the surprises, like the Cattle Crest Ranch, except for this next section coming up, the stick pin fire that happened in 2017.
And it was very hot that day. We were having a really hard time to keep going. There's not much shade, and we saw these two young women coming up, and again, the mental part, right? I see them coming, and Matt knows I get all, and so I go over, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, are you guys doing the PNT? Like, what are you? And apparently how they got so far already is because they decided that they wanted to skip the grizzly bear territory, so all of that section from Glacier to the stick pin they have skipped because they didn't want to be in their tent with grizzlies, so fair. I'm like, I get it. So this is the best water we drank on trail, just so everyone knows. Yeah, this was amazing water. It tasted lovely. Okay, I don't know what else I can say about it. I'm kidding.
It's gross.
It was disgusting.
But you can drink it.
Yeah. We didn't get sick at all on trail. We never have with our filters, so yeah, they're great.
These are, go ahead.
I know I get all excited for the pimple shots. These were two friends that we met from Germany. So on the trail we did meet a lot of Europeans. We didn't really expect to meet a lot of Europeans, but we found that they all really resonated with one thing. They said, in our country, when we hike, it's great, it's beautiful, but we don't have the vast wilderness without people that you guys do here. So it just reminded us again to be grateful for all this wilderness we have, and that, we used to get to a hiking trail in the area and be like, oh, there's 2 corners, woods. Now it's like, no, it's fine, there's not, it's very open and wild, so.
They have a place to escape for a week and not see a person is amazing to them. This is on top of Abercrombie Mountain, and Justice came up, and this is where some of the footage from the pre-show was from.
And don't forget Zurich the dog. He's a wonder dog. He hikes everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, and that's Matt. He saw a soda across the way.
Yes, just about his cold drink, so it was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Back there. Yeah, this is coming down Abercrombie Mountain. Has anyone ever hiked up Abercrombie? Oh, Justin. Yeah, it's great. I highly say it's another great gem we have in our area that's beautiful. And Justin, I remember there was something you said about it. It's considered one of the...
It's like one of the highest peaks east of the Cascades in Washington or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
It's
thought
like
that was
the
cool.
second highest, I think.
Yeah, you should go and check it out.
So this is Medaling Falls, the motel here in Washington. It's a really cool place to stay. But we had a resupply, and our friends Kelly and Darren brought it for us.
Yeah. She also had some Himalayan sea salt and hooked me up. Yeah, it was lovely. So, Kelly, I don't remember what it was for now. I don't know why I'm having a moment. Was it like swelling? Okay, something was going on.
She put it on all of her food though.
Yeah, so I would literally lick my finger to get more salt and put it in my mouth because it really helped with swelling. So, yeah, that was great. Thank you guys.
I really do appreciate the Colville and Okanagan their Forest Service. They had amazing campgrounds. If we hit a campground, it was good, except for the cows.
Except for the cows. They're scary.
So here's a couple of through hikers that we ran into. The girl's name was Ricky Bobby because she's so fast. And
She's from Vancouver.
Yes, yeah. And then we have Grandpa Frenchie and Leaky.
Yeah, 2 brothers from Michigan.
Yes,
Yeah.
Leaky, you don't know why he got his trail name, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, we won't go there tonight. If you want to know, just hit me up on intermission. Okay, so this one is just showing some of the areas that we have to camp in that are not designated, which...
Well, in this particular one, there was a forest fire in the past, and it's hard because you're trying to find a place to camp, and you just got to keep pushing, and so sometimes you have to camp where you don't exactly want to be. You just kind of look around and make sure your tree's not going to fall on you.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest areas are the fire areas. It's hard to find a spot where you know you're going to be safe. It's far enough off the trail.
Yes.
So,
Go ahead. Well, so many baby grouse this year. It was amazing. It was so fun to see them. And as time went on, it's not the same grouse, but you get to see
Oh no, just wait, there's a David Bowie grouse coming up.
You get to see the babies mature.
I named him David Bowie, you'll see why. So, yeah, he's great. So everyone always asks us, like, how much wildlife did you guys see? What did you see out there? And we're like, well, we saw a ton of grouse. We saw one bear, and we saw one cougar. And that was pretty much lots of birds.
Yes.
Yeah, we did not see a lot of, wildlife this time.
So as we were coming out down from the Salmo Priest, we had a couple people show back up. And
Kelly and Darren.
Yes.
So we walk around the corner out in Priest, and here they are with their truck open with all the goodies, and man, the pizza, and we had, what else? Oh gosh, so many good things. Yeah, I couldn't choose, you guys. It was too hard. You had too many options. Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
So this next slide is Upper Priest Lake, and we are crossing Caribou Creek, which we cross going north on the Idaho Centennial Trail. That's a lot of meaning to us. And Priest Lake feels like coming home.
It does. So this is a great photo. This is when so the one where I'm in the blue and I still have my long hair is when we did the Idaho Centennial Trail. We were just about 2 days out from finishing the trail when that picture was taken. And then this year we crossed the same area and that was taken this year.
Oh, hey, wrong way, sorry. This is also Caribou Creek, and we came back to it for a particular reason this year.
Because we eloped on trail. Because, why not? Yeah. Beautiful family and friends, and we just felt it was such a special place because it's the crossroads of both of the hikes, and it definitely was one of those once in amazing experiences. And it was funny because a few days prior, my daughter is like, I'm bringing you a dress. And I'm like, no. And she's like, no, I am bringing you a dress. And I'm like, no, I'm really wearing my hiking clothes. I promise you. Like, it's okay. Don't bring the dress. I won't wear it. But yeah, we had like 2 days to rendezvous, have some fun, eat some food, and then we were right back on trail, and everyone was flying home or going back. So
It was a really good motivational to keep us going for the first 300 miles. Like, we have a date, and we need to make it. So.
Yeah, we had to make our wedding date. Come on.
Yeah. So this place is also special. This is our honeymoon. This is the lookout over at Priest Lake, and this is the first trail this is actually where we met.
Yeah, this is the first hike that we did together, so we thought it was special that we were up there. I still have my wedding flowers in my backpack. It's a very cool trail. It's definitely one of those special places.
And it is part of the Pacific Northwest Trail. So here you have a choice to either take the upper route or there's a lower route. And we did not do the upper route because of the rain and the rocks were going to be too slick. So we ended up hiking down the next day into the valley below.
Yeah, and these are some friends that came with us after our wedding. We had some people who are like, can we join? And some close friends that want to hike up with us to Upper Priest. And then our friend Fish also camped with us for the night, so it was really fun. He'll come back in, so stay. You don't want to miss that part. We had some fun. So yeah, we camped and then we headed out the next morning. Matt's taking care of my feet. That's the beautiful view from the fire tower. I don't know how much of the Pacific Northwest Trail you guys know, but there's this, I remember hearing people when they talked about it, about the Priest Lake section. That's all I ever heard about. People would say, ooh, I did the PNT a few years ago, oh, don't skip the Priest Lake section, oh, don't do it, whatever you do. It's one of the hardest bushwhacks on the whole trail because there is no trail. You literally go off the trail and veer from going to Lion's Head, the falls there, and you just follow a game trail. There's a picture of me.
It gets to a point where it's so difficult that you just stop taking pictures a lot of the times. And so this is like one of the few pictures I turned around and took a picture of Justine.
Nobody wants to take a picture of Satan, so.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time on these sections, and I don't want Matt to ask how I'm doing, if I need anything. I'm just like, just keep going.
It took us 10 hours to go 6 miles, I think. It's pretty brutal.
So if anyone wants to do some trail work up there, let me know. I'd love to help out.
Definitely go west on this part. We made it up to the top and we're taking a break.
I have a little cell service. I probably sent some pictures. That's how I felt afterwards, not knowing what was next. I thought we made it, but we didn't.
Yeah.
There's that section.
Yeah. So we got up to Pyramid Ball Lake, took a break, and then we did a big push the next day.
Well, hold up. Back there was a goat trail. I know you can all see it in that photo, but you think you've made it to the top and you just have a nice little hike down to Pyramid and Ball. No, no, no. There's this trail that you can see in the distance that looks like a goat trail. Like if you fall off, you're not coming back. That's the trail they want you to take. So I tried to do it. I made it about, I don't know, 10%? No, not
No.
2%. Anyway, I told Matt, like, I can't carry on. I can't do it. This is like pushing everything. I don't think it's safe. And so we got down and ended up bouldering, and there was a spot where we could safely make it to the lake. I just was all happy making funny faces, and then I'm like, what? It's not over. Wait, what?
True fact. Then the next day we had a really long push. It's Parker Peak, and we're headed for Bonners Ferry area. And it is on the way down 7,000 feet in elevation loss, I think, that one day.
And these are some other hikers we just met, Peter, Pan, and Hope. They were just some great young kids, great energy. We were talking how beautiful it is in northern Idaho. We're like, yep, we live here. We love it. So that section was really great. Definitely still going through a lot of fire.
Yes, and then when we came down and out, we had our friends Jeff and Dottie.
Came and picked us up, fed us, and helped take care of all those nice wounds. So on the bushwhack on our honeymoon, I stepped in a yellow jacket nest. So I didn't realize it. Matt had crossed over this big log, and then I stepped on it and immediately started getting stung on my leg and put my bag down, and Matt's like, get out of there, there's a huge nest and you're bringing up tons of yellow jackets. So I literally grabbed my backpack, threw it over the thing, and just started going. And then because of the pain, and we came down that day to get to Jeff and Dottie's, 7,000 feet in elevation, my legs started doing something that's never happened before. It was like so painful to even like step down. I had to ask Matt to take my backpack and put it on and carry it the rest of the way down. But we did recover well. I mean, how can you not recover well with friends? They fed us. We had a great time.
Let us stay an extra day.
Oh my gosh, we stayed an extra day. They made us like, oh my gosh, you guys, they have the smoker thing. Have you guys heard of a Traeger? Like, oh my God. It was amazing. Yeah, they cooked so many great things for us, and we were just so grateful to have them. And yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks, guys.
So after that, we started heading towards Yak, Montana, and we were running now into a bubble of through hikers that were heading west. So it was really exciting having a powwow in the middle of nowhere about the trail ahead.
Well, it was cool because one of those girls was an influencer and on YouTube or I don't know, Instagram, one of those things, and recognized her. And anyway, that was kind of cool to like, yeah, see somebody. You're like, wait, don't I follow you?
Yeah. So all this time, this is the first nice camp spot that we had, and it was Hard Rock Candy Mountain on the ridge line. Oh.
Yeah, you guys, I can't even explain how cool it was to finally have like a beautiful site where there wasn't fire or bushwhacking, and it was just gorgeous.
Yeah, you don't get to pick and choose your camp spots for the beauty of it. And these slides are just on there to kind of show that there is no trail really, and that's a lot of it.
Get ready for my happy face. Ready? Oh yeah, I'm so happy. Satan is back.
Yeah, this is one of those
Do not
days
talk
where
to me.
you go from shade to shade,
Yeah.
not because it's steep going up, but
Yeah, it was really hard, and it was so hot. Yeah, it's definitely one of those challenging, the heat. And woohoo!
yeah, Montana.
We're back in the yak, so we're sitting there, and I've got Fish's shirt on because I didn't realize I didn't have a clean shirt. So we do laundry whenever we're in towns, and I had like, I love an artist, or I'm a husband, I forget what exactly but I had my Fish shirt on, and I go sit down, and I'm sitting outside the yak-a-mat, or the yak bar, and that's all there is there, and so we see these group of Sandpoint ladies, they like double take, and I'm like, yeah, it's me. Yeah, I know you guys. And anyway, they treated us to dinner, they left early, and then we went to pay the tab. Our whole tab was paid for, and it was so sweet.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
So usually when we do laundry, we take a shower first, and then I put on my rain gear, and we have all of our clothes, and I go and do the laundry in rain gear. It's not a lot of fun.
And I get to stay in the
It's a fun
hotel
time.
or the motel and just like stay under the covers and watch TV.
Yeah. So this is another long day up to this. This is Mount Henry Fire Tower. This is probably one of my favorite nights on trail. You just get up there, you're coming out of the yak, but you just have that 360 view. And you can see north into Canada. You get to see, finally get to see for the first time the bigger mountains that are in glacier.
Yeah, the sunsets and sunrises up there were so special.
It's not real pretty to look at on the inside, but it's super cozy.
Oh yeah, that's amazing, guys. I could live there. Like, just going into that from being off your tent, you're like, oh my gosh, what? There's a platform? I get to have my sleeping, wait, there's a stove? Wait, what?
The wind blows so hard up there that it kind of creaks and rocks back and forth like you're in a boat. And
Yeah, there was really high winds, and I remember hearing this story once in New Zealand where someone actually was blown off. So that's all I thought about. Matt's like, how'd you sleep? I'm like, I didn't sleep at all. I thought about flying off the mountain. But it was nice.
in this Montana section, it's really kind of nice because they have it where basically about a day's walk, you start hitting fire towers along the trail. This one is one that you have to pay to go into and stay, but this was another 7,000 plus foot day going
And it was
downhill.
cool because there was a little cooler outside with drinks, and it says Trail Angels, take whatever you need. So we did have a nice cold drink there, which was nice.
This is Lake Kuskanuska, and we walked across this bridge, heading for Eureka, Montana.
Get ready, I'm happy again. Woo! Yeah, I'm super happy there. I don't remember what kind of day that was, but
No, Justine is not a fan of road walking.
nope. So you think road walks and you think, oh yeah, you can get a ton of miles in, it's gonna be lovely, it's great, but actually you go so much faster that at the end of the day your feet hurt worse than if you were on trail going up a mountain. It's a different kind of pain, yeah.
More through hikers that. So these people are all heading west, and what is nice about that is when we do our flip-flop and we get back to Oroville, we'll be basically back right with those people again. So we were able to catch up and visit and see how, like a month later, how everybody's doing.
Well, it was great because we could share what was coming ahead from them, and they could share what was coming ahead for us, which was really nice. I think it is a good point to mention, can everyone still hear me okay? My mic is, okay. So in that picture before, there's a father and son. We had heard that one other person, or father and son,
The big picture.
were going from Oroville our way behind us, and they were a couple weeks behind us. And we had heard about them. They were from North Carolina. Other people had met them. They're like, oh yeah, they're behind you guys a few days. Well, little did we know we were all going to catch up in Eureka, Montana, because this father and son were not taking any zeros. They just kept hiking. They stopped in no towns to like have a night in a hotel. They just kept going. So they caught up and they became our trail family for the next 8 days while we finished the glacier section. So it was really nice. We really got to know them. And we just had a call with them a few weeks ago. And so, yeah, those connections you make on trail are really special.
So a zero is where we take a full day off. We get to town, we stay the night, and then we have all next day to either resupply, buy a package that's mailed to us or dropped off, or we go to a grocery store, and it's where we try to do our laundry, and then we leave the next day.
Yeah, it's always chores. You don't just go get to chill and watch TV. There's always like so many things you got to do. New food, wash your clothes.
Social media for like,
You have
It's
social
very
media for
fun.
the very fun, and you know how long that can take. Oh, which picture should I use out of these 4,000 ones I've taken? So it's a challenge for sure.
this was, now we're in western Montana still, and the mountains are starting to finally get a little bit bigger. You're starting to see some more cliffs, and it gets you really excited because you know that you're getting closer to glacier.
Here's our father and son again. We named them Cheddar and Broccoli, Northside.
Last name Northside.
Northside, yeah. Because they were saying how the color of it was so gross, and the dad was like, no, it's not. And the son was like, yes, it is. And anyway, it was really funny. They really talked about food all the time. Like we do on Road Trail. Yeah, like biscuits and gravy or 2 eggs over easy.
2 eggs over easy,
Yep.
please.
We play that game all the time. I'll be like, ooh, you know what sounds really good right now? One of those fat pig burgers. The food game is real on trail, for sure.
Justine is not a fan of this picture, but I absolutely love it.
I'm actually happy.
She's happy, and the sun is trying to peek out, and she's like excited to see it. This next slide is Yeah, we're starting to get into more brush, no trail. So this, you can't see here, but right behind us, we're going up this goat trail, and there's a huge thunderstorm right on the other side of us, and we had to make a decision to go or turn around, and we ended up going for it, and it was pretty stressful. It was really stressful, actually, and we'd gotten off just before a hailstorm. We had made it to a lake, and from the rain, it was high humidity, and so everything
Became wet again. We were drying everything out, and then it started to get dark, and everything was soaked. Like even the inside of our tent, inside of our sleeping bag, like our quilt was wet. Yeah, so it was not a happy moment.
And for bear safety reasons, this is why we started hiking with the father and son.
Yeah, this section we had heard from other thru hikers, you will see grizzly, you will see grizzly scat. We did see a lot of scat. We sang a lot of bad 80s songs together. Didn't even David, the dad, he had a really great funny song. He was like Queen, he took a Queen song, but turned it into like a thank you to the hiking crews that come in and clear trails. I can't remember. I wish he could zoom in.
I know.
Anyway, yeah.
This is the Hostel Inn, Pulbridge, and highly recommend it.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And
The caretaker, Oliver, is amazing. He's just awesome, dude. Like, he just, has traveled the world, is so humble, really helps you out, makes a point to remember your name, so when everyone's getting up in the morning, he's like, Justine, how did you sleep? Would you like some tea? Just very, very awesome.
don't forget about the pastries and the food at the Mercantile.
Oh, I won't. Don't forget about those. They give you, if you hike in or bike in, they let you pick one of their pastries. And everyone's like, go for the huckleberry bear claw. Definitely get the huckleberry. I'm like, yeah, we live where there's huckleberries. We're pretty lucky.
Yes. Now we're officially into Glacier National Park. The park service there really works with you because you have to have permits for each camp spot. And they try to work it out, but when you're hiking, you can't just make plans ahead because you don't know when you're exactly be there. So we ended up doing 24 and a half miles the first day to get to Lake Francis, and it was quite a jaunt.
Yeah, they don't
Beautiful.
want to usually give you that many miles, but
No, they want you to have a maximum of 16 miles, and because they want you to be in place and not hike in the early mornings and at night because of the bears, which we saw none.
I mean, how can you see them in that brush? That's what I want to know. They make you sit and watch this video on bear safety, but they don't tell you about how the backcountry and Glacier is mostly overgrown, which I thought was pretty funny. I'm like, well, we wouldn't even see one coming. I mean, sometimes it was over our heads.
No, we're in Glacier.
Yeah. So something cool about, I don't know if any of you have been in the backcountry and Glacier, but they really have it dialed in when you get into your camp spot. There's a little map, it tells you where the bear hang is, it also tells you where the food prep area is. They do not allow you to take your backpack where you're gonna camp. You stop at the little kitchen, you dump everything there, you have your food, you hang it, then you carry on to find your camp spot, which is a really cool concept, and I love that. I love that about Glacier. I felt really safe, even though, yeah, there's lots of grizzly there. What's funny?
Just thinking about feeling really safe in Glacier. So we were in Glacier, and our last night in Glacier, we were laying in our tent. We just got in bed, and there was a river, and we hear a grizzly bear roar as it sounds like it's chasing something.
Like just this horrendous
And it is
roar.
moving, and yeah.
You have to listen to it on YouTube.
So that's why I'm laughing. Yeah, this is Lake Francis. It's really beautiful, and we woke up the next day, and this young lady is a birder for the national park, and she was in her sleeping bag held up, looking at the waterfall, and she was looking for black swifts, and I scared the bejesus out of her, thinking it was a bear.
Yeah, she did see them. They do exist behind the waterfall. She said I think she saw two.
Yep, they'll be back to do a further study. And that is the other side of the lake. Our little friend that showed up as we left. So they do come in, the deer, looking for human
leftovers.
Leftovers.
I mean, not human leftovers,
Yeah.
but scraps.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I was trying to figure out how to put it politely. People that don't like use the outhouse there, they go and dig up urine
Yeah.
to try to get minerals because it's difficult to get those at times. So I was just trying to figure out how to work
Yeah,
that.
that's why they want you to use the outhouses.
Yeah. The father and son, it was really wonderful because they had swam in every lake the entire way.
Like the
And
whole trail, they didn't
the
miss
whole
one
trail.
lake, the whole trail. We all get up at 7 in the morning, I'm like, are you guys really gonna go in? They're like, oh yeah, we're going in. It was really inspiring.
6 o'clock in the morning, there they go. This is Waterton Lake on the southern end. Canada is just north. This is also the start of the Continental Divide Trail. About 4 miles north on the border is the terminus. And this is kind of a cool place because there's this ferry that shows up and all of a sudden there will be like 40, 50 people and they're only there for like 30 minutes. It's this complete mayhem and then they're gone.
And then it's all quiet again.
Yes.
Wait, where am I?
But this is a really good way also if you go into Canada to get into the border of backcountry without hiking. You can take the ferry here, go get dropped off. And at Go Hunt here, there is actually running water, there's bathrooms. It's a good facility. And there's kind of some pictures of similar, it's just when you're out there, you do have a little bit of time. We slowed down a little bit in Glacier National Park to kind of take it in. And so we spent more time in one spot and just to watch the mountains change. It's pretty spectacular.
So there's the kitchen area I was telling you guys about and the bear hang.
Yes,
They're probably talking about north sides.
probably. Was argued.
Yeah, just the scenery and glaciers. It was always changing. Yeah, it
Yes.
was so beautiful.
So the Continental Divide Trail on the fall, is it 4? I don't know, I think it was
A few miles.
a few miles, yeah. And then it gets back again, the trail.
Yeah, they make it all nice for the CDTers, and then they're like, oh, PNTers for you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I know they do.
Ask if
I mean, there's Matt. I'm just trying to show like how grown up everything is, and like find a trail and staying on trail and trying to see wildlife is just non-existent.
Yeah. At least not for
Unless you're
us.
like,
So the trails, the PNT goes through pretty much the valleys, and there's only 2 passes that you go over, and so you're down in the vegetation more. We're coming up and going over Stony Indian Pass, and we had that one moment where we really were, I felt like we had that glacier experience, because you turn around and there's a ton of glaciers. It was,
there's David eating his, I don't know, he's super happy there. I remember that moment.
it's food.
Yeah, it's food. Yeah, the valleys are amazing.
Since they're from, was it
North Carolina.
North Carolina, they had never seen snow in the summertime, so they were pretty excited.
Yeah, you really get to know the trail family. Our last day in Glacier together, we were all in our tents and we all were pretty close and we could, talk. And I was like, how many days have we known you guys? It feels like, a month. And they're like, we figured out it was only 7 days. And we're just couldn't believe it because how close we have all gotten and how much time there was to talk and really get to know each other. We feel like that's a lot of things that are missing in today's world. It's just that real authentic connection. And we definitely had it with these two. It was really nice and to just spend that time. And this young man, just his drive and he would get his dad out of the tent. I'd hear the alarm go off in the morning, right? And the son's already like deflating his pad, doing all the things while his dad's like, 10 more minutes. And the son would be like, nope, the alarm's going off. And then I'd hear the dad's pad, oh, and then he likes to deflate it. But every day that kid, he was an amazing young man, was ready to get on trail. And something cool, I know y'all know, when you go on through hikes, you don't ever bring books because it's weight you don't want to carry. They would read novels, and they would drop them at free libraries in towns and pick up other books. So they'd always spend time reading at night, which I thought was cool, or playing cards. We did get a game of Uno, I think, in there.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun.
It was fun. Saw some pack horses coming through, that was really nice. And this is and there's no official terminus, so this is one end of the trail. This is Chief Mountain East Glacier.
And And then this guy said, why don't you guys all take off your hats? We'll get a picture. So we had to do one like fun photo. Yeah. Hi.
So this is waiting for our ride to show up, and this is for horses, and it stinks, and it's hot, and it's the only shade, so
That's us waiting for
it's
the.
not always glamorous.
And here comes Darren,
Yes.
picking us up in Glacier. We're so excited. He was really excited to help us out and do this, and we're very grateful.
Not only us, so David and Holden were going to be heading back
On the training.
on the train, and it got there was a derailment somewhere, and Darren the next day drove them all the way to Spokane with us to go out of his way to make sure that they were safe and on their way. We really
So we got to
appreciate that.
keep it. And on the other side, his son Holden, he's like, look guys, this is the only wildlife we really
Yeah.
did see.
Yeah.
He wasn't joking. Yeah, we saw no goats. They really wanted to see goats, and we didn't see any goats or any bear.
So
We did in the gift shop.
when we did get home, we were home for almost a week, and we did resupplies and kind of got everything back in order.
So everyone's like, what do you do when you go home? I'm like, well, we hike with Matt's mom, of course. Like, come on, get back out there, stay ready to go. So we just spent the day in Harrison, which was really nice.
Yes, and my mom did really appreciate it once again. She took care of all of our boxes and resupplies and making sure all of our what we needed got to us.
Well, and it was really cool because she was keeping track of her miles because she's a day hiker. She hikes every day, gets outside, and she was keeping track of her miles while we were keeping track of ours. And I have to say, there's times where she was like really close. I was like, oh man, are we gonna beat your mom or is she gonna
I know, taking too many days off in town.
taking too many days eating
Yes.
laundry?
So when we left Sandpoint, our friend Hal here has a small plane and flew us back to Orville, and it was quite the trip. And it's so amazing flying back, just how fast it is, watching those miles click by after you just spent a month and a half walking the opposite direction. But it was great because we were able to fly over some of the things that we saw on the way there. So,
Yeah, thanks, Hal.
thank you.
It's so funny because I thought, ooh, I'm gonna go in and be in the plane for, an hour. And it went so fast, you guys. I felt like I was in the plane for 5 minutes. I was like, no, I don't want it to end. It's so fun. And it's so beautiful seeing everything from above and what you just came over. So it was definitely a very special treat, and we're very grateful that he offered this for us.
So on the top left-hand picture, you can see some black where was burned. Right outside of Orville there was a fire, so there's a little bit of concern for you being able to make it back through that area without having to do a reroute. But we were able to keep going, and it was extremely hot. That was the only poisonous snake that we ran into this time around, so
A dead one.
a dead one, and I was really thankful about that.
Me too. I won't lie.
Palmer Lake in the background. It's quite a barren, but different kind of landscape. It's really pretty. I don't know if I'd want to live there, but it's beautiful its own way. Cold Springs Campground the last night before I head out to the Passaic Wilderness.
Yeah, we met some people that day. It was really hot, and we were doing a big climb, and they had come by and they're side by side. And we caught up to each other, and they're like, you guys should come over here. And they start talking to us, and like, you guys look like you need cold drinks. So it was really sweet. And that's one thing about the trail, meeting people and just their generosity and they're willing to help you out is just, there's nothing like it. It's just very kind and beautiful.
Absolutely. So one thing I love about the Passaic Wilderness, I didn't know a lot about the Passaic until we got into it. And over by Orville, you're lower and there's sagebrush, and you start sagebrush and then you're in the North Cascades. By the time you hit the other side, it's really diverse.
A lot of high alpine
Yeah.
passes.
This is the tungsten mine. Really enjoyed that south of the middle of nowhere. I've been thinking lately what it would look like in the snow. Wish we could stay there, but we keep going. And this was the same day that we hit the high point on this trail, and it's only 7,000 feet high. Quite beautiful. This next slide is going to be us running from shade to shade again because it's just really high. The trail's really good and because it's graded for horses and livestock, so it wasn't too hard. We're on the pass.
So something cool with Matt, we went over the slideshow together here. Do you guys see anything in the upper corner? We didn't notice at the time, but when Matt was putting the slideshow together, he said, I zoomed in and that's a hummingbird up in the corner. And for those of you that don't know, hummingbirds have a very special meaning. After Ethan had passed, I've been visited a lot, especially when I'm spreading his ashes. They have flown through and been definitely one of those.
One of those kind of moments.
Yes.
So one thing that's interesting about the Passaic is around here when we get up to the top of like a mountain ridge or something, you just kind of go up and right over again. And this you hike and you're just up on these high plateaus at 6,000 feet for a few miles, and I really enjoy that. You get to actually spend some time up high. This section we were hiking, and we'd seen a fire up north in Canada as we're hiking this, but it looked like it was far enough away. There was a lot of smoke, but as the day progressed, we did see more of a fire. We carry an inReach. Gotta throw this in as a Spanish cabin. That we use to through satellite to be able to text our friends and family at night to let everybody know that they were okay. We were able to text our friend Darren and Justin and ask questions about fires that were ahead of us. So it's really helpful. I think this is one of my favorite spots here at camp.
Yeah, you look at very happy. Sorry.
Well, it's so dry out there that, so this is a part where we're using a stove, and there's only certain times that I would allow us to use a stove, even though we're super safe. It's just so dry.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about cold soaking.
That's another story. So cold soaking, there's a jar out there on the table that has some rice, freeze-dried beans, freeze-dried chicken, and some taco seasoning, and you just add water.
So we weren't stoveless for the first 600 miles.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm not a fan.
No, but what's convenient about it is you can just put the water in, it mixes, it rehydrates, and then you can eat it, throw the lid back on. It's easy, it's fast and simple.
By mile 300, I remember the day Matt opened his jar, and the smell of the beans and chicken just like made me gag. I was like, I'm done, I can't cold soak. So I went to tuna and wraps and all different things till we got our stove. So. I still think of that smell.
I'm still eating it. That's what I eat for lunch.
He really is, you guys. He gets his jar out and everything.
This is a pretty cool surprise. These people had come in from the south of the Passaic, and we were able to talk to them for a while.
Yeah, lots of horses.
To see actual horses out there, it was beautiful. We couldn't get a ride. Yes. So there was large areas in the Passaic too that had burned, and it's been years. It's safer to go because a lot of the trees have fallen, but because of the lack of trees, it's just really hot. This next one is we were hiking, and the fire at Cathedral Pass that we saw in Canada, the smoke from, it had started to blow up, and these two different slides are under like probably 4 minutes between pictures, where it just is just going crazy. And I kind of had a meltdown at this point because do you go forward, go south? What's the best plan? And so it was a series the entire day of messaging Darren and Justin and trying to figure out what's around us and if it's safe to go. And we decided to keep going because our trail was going to hit the Pacific Crest Trail, and if all else failed, we were going to go to Canada.
But yeah, we had just been in that area, was it a day prior, where the fire had jumped, where they weren't allowing any more PNT hikers.
Correct. Right near that cabin, the tungsten cabin, it burned. This section is 22 miles of a burn that happened years back. There's a lot of logs that are on the trail.
I call it parkour.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of jumping.
Yeah, this is the Passaic River Valley, and just the force is gone. It's just,
David Bowie's coming up.
it's just awe-inspiring.
Okay, this grouse seriously is David Bowie. Okay, I was sitting there and he kept coming up and looking at me, and like his little flashy red eye just got me every time. He just would not, like he was like almost tame. He just kept coming up and Matt's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I found David Bowie.
Well, it's cool being so far out there that the animals aren't afraid of humans, and it's curious. And so literally it was 2 feet away or 1 foot away, we're eating lunch.
Come on, those red eyes.
I know. So that 22 miles of the last fire ran into the 8 miles of fire that closed the PCT last year that we had to get through. And it was just a brutal, hard section. We were very lucky to make it through without any injury. Like I said, these are the pictures that where it's easy going. It's not hard traveling because we're able to walk around. There's, once we start going uphill towards Frosty Pass,
That's where it got real.
it gets real. But it's eerie because you can see the smoke in the trees from the fires around us and ahead of us.
And there's no sound, something I found that was so, it was very eerie because, I mean, not only that we didn't see any wildlife much on the trail, but that it was just so quiet. I don't think I've ever heard any woods so quiet. I mean, there wasn't a sound. You almost felt like you were being watched, and it was just the most eerie feeling going through.
There wasn't any small birds, there was no squirrels, chipmunks, nothing. And this is Frosty Pass. You come out and you're in North Cascades.
Yeah, we wanted to make it to this area. That day was our push. We're just like, keep going, keep going. We got to make it to Frosty Pass. And we got up there, it was sunset, and I mean, it was gorgeous. So it's definitely worth, again, in life and on the trail, push through those hard moments because there's going to be something beautiful.
Absolutely. You don't know. It teaches you to live in the moment and enjoy what you have, because you never know when you're going to have the hardest moment on the trail. And so you just appreciate what you have at that time. And we were officially crossed onto the Pacific Crest Trail, which we named Yellowbird Road because it was so well taken care of.
It's a real trail, folks, real trail.
So on this, we're from Frosty Pass down to a pass, another pass. We were only supposed to be on for 13 miles, but because of the sourdough fire, we had to keep going to Hart's Pass and had to get off trail. And we decided to get off trail because of the smoke.
I really need to wash my feet.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
In the slides coming up, you'll progressively see the smoke get worse, and it was where it's snowing ash on us. And we decided to drive around it, get transportation around it, than actually try to make a continuous footpath, because it just wasn't healthy.
Yeah, people were coming in on the PCT wearing masks when we started seeing the ash, girls were coming in to finish the trail, but they were wearing masks because the smoke was so bad.
So another thing was when we hit the PCT, it was quite the culture shock, because
My frog face.
we really hadn't seen anybody in a week, and in 24 hours we counted 125 people, hikers that were doing the PCT.
Lots of Europeans.
Yes, and the hikers, the PNT hikers that we ran into, there was only 40 of us that we talked to. Kind of the difference of the popularity of the trails. So we had befriended some NASA engineers here that actually gave us a ride down to Leavenworth, where our friends Jen and Lisa live, and they gave us a ride up to Concrete, Washington. We were able to rejoin the trail at Baker Lake.
Can you guys see Matt's eyes in that bottom picture? Go back. Yeah, I was cracking up. I didn't notice that for like a month later, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're cross-eyed in that picture. Sorry.
Sasquatch at the library, it's great. The trail around Baker Lake is absolutely beautiful. The road walk is not as much fun, but the trail around is easygoing. We go through some enormous old growth forests, just not enormous cedar trees, but Doug fir that was there, that was huge. let's see, this next slide coming up is going to be Mount Baker, which has permanent glaciers on it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Before you get to the next one, let me just bump this up, what happened before you get to the next slide.
All right.
I'll do the short version. So it started raining. We got our tent set up. In the morning when we went to get up, it was like pouring rain. It was just like not one of those great mornings. So it was like one of the only mornings we slept in on trail. But little did we know our friend Justin was using his Garmin to try to find us and was getting worried that he hadn't run into us yet because he thought he was going to find us like miles before. But it's all because we slept in. But we come around a corner and there's him in Zurich right on the trail. And just like, again, that connection and seeing friends on trail and like how it can really bring you much happiness and joy, and you forget about all the pain or the hard morning, and it was great.
It was. This is on our way up to Mount Baker area. They had used some scaffolding as a makeshift bridge. It's pretty cool. Now we're in the Mount Baker Wilderness area, and we were trying to make it to a fire tower up here. And it was kind of a stress because it's middle of the afternoon, it's first come, first serve, and we lucked out, and we got to stay the night in this fire tower.
I mean, it's hanging off a rock, you guys. I'm not even kidding. How I had to climb up to it, that's for real. So anytime you had to use the bathroom, you had to come down that sketchy rock. It wasn't windy that night.
No, she didn't go to the bathroom much. But it's beautiful. So at night, it cleared. The picture of us standing on the porch there is from the next day. That night in the afternoon, it was cloudy, and it only come out a couple times. The picture on your left is after night, and it had just cleared off a little bit, and you could see the headlamps of the climbers coming down off the mountain, and it was pretty amazing to watch it. And you're kind of like going, oh God, don't go that way. There's a cliff. But, oh, wrong way again, sorry.
This is where we parted ways with Justin, and he got this shot of us. Just seeing the Mount Baker the next morning and being in that area was just like, we knew we were getting closer. Like our journey was, we were out of the Pasayten, and yeah.
Sure. So this next section is kind of like a connecting from the Mount Baker Wilderness to the Puget Sound area. And what a bushwhack this was. There is a trail here somewhere.
Somewhere.
So there was probably about 5 miles of this, and then this section coming up though too is the trail goes through a lot of private land, and it's logging, and they don't want you to camp in certain areas, and so there's like 26-mile days that you have to try to do to try to get to a little spot so you can camp.
Yeah, they've agreed with the PNT Association that they will let you hike through these logging areas, but you just are not allowed to camp there. So we're grateful we could even pass through, but it did make the days really hard.
Trying to time it. Yeah, super hot. And we happen to have a friend that texts us because we got a phone signal.
I mean, you guys, this was wild. Like, Dan and I must have been on the wavelength that day. I turned on my phone. I'm like, oh, I just want to like text my mom or see if I have service, because I could see like a little town or something. And it was such a hot day, and we were walking through these logging roads. It was so hot. And I just turned on my phone. I literally get this message from our friend Dan. He's like, do you guys need anything? I'm in the area visiting my daughter. And I was like, wait, is this an old message, or did this literally just come through? No joke, guys. It literally just came through. So he brought us these amazing cold drinks and snacks, and we got to spend the night in Cedar Woolley, I think it was.
Cedar Woolley, which is also the home of the
Thanks, Dan.
PNT Association, which I try to go to 3 times, but they were closed. We got back on trail. Thanks, Dan.
The truck.
And we met some other thru hikers and hiked with a nice family for the afternoon. Going into the Puget Sound area, there is a lot of road walking mixed in with some trails. And so you're going to be around more people all the time, or you might have a chance to stop at a gas station and grab something. So you're not packing as much food, which is nice to have go a little bit lighter.
one of my customers that I met through my business, Lisa, she lives in Bellingham, but also is part-time here. And she said, oh, you're gonna be in my neck of the woods. I'd love to like trailing and show you guys. Oh, she wasn't kidding. Her and her husband showed up, took us to Taylor's Shellfish. We had like shrimp and the best seafood. And then they took us out that night to like pizza. She gave us rides in and out of thunderstorms back to a hotel, then back on the trail.
Yeah, so we would hike it for like 8 hours and then she'd grab us, so we were just kind of bouncing back and forth. Yeah, and we get to go on here and explore this a little bit. One of the little perks about walking near civilization, being able to see things.
Is that an anacortes?
Yes, sorry. This is Deception Pass, this is one of the 2 bridges. We're on a little island in the sound, and it looks like a fast-moving river, but that's just the tide coming back in. And it's kind of sketchy walking across the bridge because the traffic goes by pretty fast. We were able to camp there. One thing about this area is there's an Air Force base, and so you hear jets continuously. And we were camped at Deception Pass, and
They had training that night for landing, right? It was like
on an aircraft carrier.
till
So
midnight.
you're in this beautiful park, this beautiful setting, and it's just jets
So
nonstop.
loud. I was like, oh, my brother would think this is so cool.
Yes. Banana slope. So we got to.
Told you a fish would come back into the story.
Yeah. So part of this journey is you get to take this ferry here, and that's where Fish met us, and we took the ferry across to Port Townsend. During this time, I was on the phone with Olympic National Park getting our permits for the park. I spent probably 2 hours with them on the phone, and they're really great. You're walking continuously over 500 miles. They really work with you to make sure you are taken care of. This is Port Townsend.
Yeah, we met our friend Carolyn Doe. I don't know how many of you remember her. She used to live here. She's an artist now in Port Townsend. And she's like, of course I want to like see you guys. So she like let us, you know, we ate dinner. We ate like, what did we eat? Clam chowder. The best clam chowder I've ever had. And then she gave us rides to the hotel and a ride to the trail. And it was really special to see her and have this connection again with her.
So there are sections of this trail where we did skip, I think probably about 100 miles of road walking that we just didn't think were safe. And this was like a 20-mile section that just wasn't safe.
Yeah, people try to like give you all these tips, like walk on the left side of the road, then dodge in here on this part. Oh, there's no place to pee for 20 miles, but just dodge in this, dodge. I mean, there's no shoulder. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm not risking my life, like, for this little section of highway. So we did decide it was like a safety call that we were going to go around this highway. It was like Highway 101. It was just a really busy highway.
Yeah. Fish's favorite mountain.
Yeah, Fish, do you want to
Sign.
like share about, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this trail kept going, just as we're all saying, oh, well, this is kind of a nice, easy day, because we were road walking, and then we hit this trail at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was steep. So I do have to, for Fish joining us, we've been walking for hundreds of miles at this point. Our bodies are used to it. We're used to doing 20 plus miles a day if need be, and Fish jumps in. So we did slow our miles down, but he's just getting used to being on trail. So, and we just had a blast, and
Yeah.
it was a good time.
Yeah, Fish tells good stories. I don't know if you guys ever go to the farmer's market, but his wife Red there sells amazing paintings, so he's always her sidekick, and we just get such a fun, we just have so much fun with Fish. He's great. He brings the life to the party and just is so funny and so positive all the time. Just when you're having a bad day, you can't have a bad day when you're around Fish, I don't think it's possible. Was I Fish?
So this is in the Buck Wilderness, just the entrance and the shelter, and we decided to sleep out of our tent for the first time. And what little creature came to visit?
Yeah, by the way, I won't be doing this again, but I had a feeling already. But yeah, in the middle of the night, I had a rat go across my little chest right here.
A pack rat.
A pack rat, so it went flying, just to let everyone know. I flung it off. It's a flying rat now.
He was really cute though.
Yeah, Messence is cute. No,
He was.
no rat's cute.
It's a little furball. It wasn't a full grown one, so. Now we're actually officially in the Olympic Park, and climbing up out of valleys. One thing with the PNT is you are going kind of against the grain of the mountains. Most mountains in the U.S. like run north to south, and we are going up and over those continuously. So
See, there's fishing. I told you guys, always a good time. Matt's like, oh, I know how to do this panorama. You guys just run over here, run over there. And, yeah, we were having a blast that day. It was our lunch break. This is what we do at lunch.
was that Dan's idea?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, wasn't
Dan's
that?
was-
He actually stole that from you, Dan, so what a brilliant idea that was.
The landscape here is just amazing. We're finally, you're in the middle of Washington and there's not the great views in the Olympics. We finally, even for me, over Glacier, I enjoyed the Olympics. Just the bigger mountains and the bigger views.
No smoke.
No smoke, possible rain, but it's just beautiful.
There's fish. It's an I Spy. Where's fish? Everyone seen that?
Sorry, we crack ourselves up. What was the name of this lake?
Matt's trail name, just so everyone knows, is Map. So while we're on trail, I don't know where the heck we are, but he always does, so it's perfect. So his trail name is officially Map because we never get lost. So you should know the name of that lake is where I was going with that.
I don't know.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. This is Constance Pass, and that was another hard climb up. It was beautiful. Not just, we had met a woman that had come over that and had kind of give us a tip. And she thought it was hard going up, and so the way down was quite it was down. But we had more climbing to do for that day. It's just,
Yeah, every day that fish joined us was really
it was hard.
It was
Yeah.
hard. There was like a mountain pass every day. I was like, is there just gonna be a day where we get to like walk a ridge line?
Not to the
Nope.
ocean. In this park, you also had designated camp spots. In the busier areas, they want you to stick to your designated spot on your day. In this area, you could kind of fudge it. Nobody's around. It's kind of nice. This is a massive tree. If you stand next to it, that's a big tree that was removed with hand saws. Kind of give you a perspective. And I love this picture of Justine.
Yeah, I'm a dork in my toe socks.
Yes.
I love it.
And gingies are the way to go. They did have huts out there that you could stay in, which we did not.
No more rats in my future. It's just stunning. There's so much beauty out there. It's gorgeous. And I just like have to say, Fish, you killed it out there. Like that was hard. That was so hard. One day with Fish, we went over, well, it's coming up 24 miles.
24 and a half miles, yes.
Yeah, you just did amazing. That's not easy. That was hard.
It is. So this part of the journey, it was, I think, the end of August and beginning of September. So we had packed a little bit warmer clothes. You can start to see the change of leaves. See that fall is definitely coming. Jorge.
The marmot.
Do you remember how many trees were down on this section?
Oh yeah, remember that day, Fish? I was counting them. Fish, do you remember? Like
They were like 80, wasn't it?
80, yes! I was like, okay, someone said there's 40 down trees. I'm gonna count them. There's actually not 40, there's 80.
So this part of the park, this is, it was Hayes River, and this is the Elwha River, and at the edge of the park, there was a dam removal, and when they did that, the lake eventually wiped out the road. And so part of the park, you have to hike in an extra 6 miles, and so it's super quiet. It's so beautiful in this valley as we're hiking out, and nobody is hardly out there. We saw a handful of people in the couple days that we were hiking it out. And this is elk camp, and they have a place for your horses and the whole 9 yards. It was beautiful.
Here's our friend Erin that came came in to meet us on trail, which was amazing. We loved having her there with us. She is in the process of writing an article about us in Backpacker Magazine, which should be out soon. January. We're super excited, and it was great having her along. But it's funny because we're just like, just hike in and meet us. Just keep hiking till you meet us. Well, we didn't know it was going to be a 24-mile day because of the road washout. So, of course, we had to have breakfast after that. Come on.
So this is Port Angeles, and it was not our favorite trail town. And the motel was the worst that Fish had even been in.
Yeah, it was so bad. So apparently, before this was the only hotel I didn't book pre-time because I thought, oh, there's tons of hotels. We'll have a chance. Little did I know there was some boat show going on. And even when I called Super 8, they're like, whatever you do, don't stay here, blah, blah, blah. Well, I forgot what blah, blah, blah was, like a half hour later at 10 o'clock at night, we all just are tired, so we went to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Fish had to change rooms. I don't know if the bed was on cinder blocks or what those were. We couldn't even sleep on the bedding because it was so disgusting, so we got our quilt out. We even felt bad for the pine needles we left there when we left the next day. We're like, we're sorry.
It was clean dirt that we're leaving it disgusting. It was bad. This picture here, so we get back on trail, Fish and Aaron had taken off, and this is part of the ranger stations that is not used anymore, and it's just kind of like this weird walking through this ghost town. And this is where they had taken out the dam, and the brush is where the lake was, to the tree line. We're starting to see some more people in this area because there's hot springs up ahead, and you're getting into a place called it's Seven Lakes, and you can drive up in elevation, and so it was more populated, and you can it's stunning up there. We were kind of going back and forth. We were trying to make it to Deer Lake, and we spent the night there. That's Heart Lake, and it had rained, and we got soaked. And the next day, we were on this ridge line, and it was brutal. And we decided to take a detour and come off. What was that? Was that Soul Duck? Where we came out at Hot Springs, and we were able to meet some folks quick, and we actually got a ride to a bus stop and took a bus to Forks. And so we missed like 15 miles of the trail, but it's like those decisions that you have to make on what's safe and what's right for you.
Yeah, it was really windy that day too. I remember.
Yeah, it was
we
brutal.
were going to get dry for a good 24 hours plus. So.
Yeah. So at Forks,
Guess what we did in Forks? We eat.
my favorite restaurant was this little place.
Okay guys, if you're in Forks, go to this,
Bread.
it just opened. I'm not even joking. For any foodies out there, this place, we went back like 3 times. I think we made friends with everyone there.
So side note, has anybody read or watched the Twilight movies?
Yeah.
Because this is part of the book, and so there was a Twilight festival going on when we were there. It was kind of strange.
So we had the Bella room.
Yeah, at this motel that we stayed in. We had a 20-something mile road walk, and until we got to here, and it was our first sign of the actual ocean.
My back hurt there. I'm not constipated.
So with the ocean brings a whole nother set of rules that you have to hike by. So there's headlands that you have to either hike over or go around, and you have to use the tide charts, and you have to wait for the tide. It's really nice in the fact that it actually, this is the end of the trail, and it is making you slow down or speed up if you're trying to beat the tide, but for the most part, try to slow down and wait and actually enjoy. So we met some other thru hikers at this beach, and we're all hanging out. We decided to stay the night, and they headed out that evening. But it was really nice making new friends.
They were from London.
Yeah. This is what we were waiting for the water to go out. You can kind of see the high water. This was the biggest concern of the whole beach that I had. Starfish. Justine, what did you think it was going to be like at the beach?
Oh, I literally thought when we got to the beach, I'd be walking on sand in my sunglasses, like this is amazing. There's no hard parts. No, this part was no joke. And actually our first overland, Matt had to take my backpack because the ladder was so steep.
So this picture right here kind of is up to this little rock here, and the water comes up to almost there, and there's like kind of the tan up close to the bottom of the picture, and as you work your way back, you can see the different colors of rocks, and to me it was like the certain layers of depth from the rocks getting more slick, from just slime, or you're walking on seaweed and anything else that the ocean washes up. Here's an example of some of the ladders that you go up and over.
God, I'm supposed to wear a pack and go up that. I was like, no. But I did get braver, guys. You'll be proud of me. By the end, I was carrying my own pack. This was the only one that I had met. I decided if I don't look down and I keep talking to myself going up, I'd be fine.
It is, good job. And it's like, it is a rainforest, and so the forest is really dense and thick, and there had been a trail crew that had maintained it recently, and we're so thankful. This is Mosquito Campground. We were able to dry our tent out from the day before. The fog had rolled in and we were soaked. So having it slow us down is also actually nice because we were able to rest a little bit. So this section is in a wilderness area, and from having lived near the ocean before, you don't see things like this. The bottom right-hand corner above us here is one of the vertebrae from a whale. And we saw more whale bones and just different things that I don't think we would have seen if you were around civilization. Another thing too is finding water that isn't contaminated from the seawater, the salt water. So you have to have a good filter and pay close attention to that.
I did enjoy all the tide pools. I'd never been around that. It's really cool. If you haven't been in tide pools, I definitely recommend it. It's really cool.
Yeah, so like there's the pictures I'm taking here of the beaches. This was a small portion. We're taking pictures because it's easier. But as Justine's saying, those tide pools, as you're crossing them, you're walking on different mussels and snails, and you're just smashing them, and you kind of feel bad, but you do feel bad. We had taken a break and we were waiting for a tide, and there's a couple of Czech gals from Czech Republic that we got to meet and hang out with and make a run for it. We're running from the water. The tide is going down, and so we were safe, but it was fun.
Look, I have my pack on, everybody. I did it. There wasn't even a ladder. It was a rope.
So this symbol here is the symbol that marks the headlands we're going up and over. Yeah.
Like I said, I thought it was going to be all sandy beaches.
A ladder that goes up straight up and down would have been easier than this, because you're kind of doing that like crawling up and down. So we got just outside of La Push, and there was a 12-mile road walk that you have to do around, because there's a bridge to cross a river. And we stopped at this
Diner in the middle of nowhere.
yeah, diner, but it's also like a campground.
But it was funny, you guys, because the Czech girls were like, yeah, we're walking the whole road. And this car came up, like, do you guys want to ride? And we're like, no, we mile for mile, we got to pledge, we have pledges. And here goes the Czech girls, no joke. They went by us in the back of a car. And they did
In the
it.
back of the truck.
I know. We're like cheaters.
So this beach here, a week after we were off the trail, there was a young woman that was pulled out to sea, and she passed away by a wave, and she got sucked into a riptide. So you never want to actually turn your back to the ocean.
And the Park Service makes sure they were really good with Matt, making sure he knew how to read the tides, he had the app, we follow it. Sometimes we have to get up at 4 in the morning to try to get around the tides, like you have to follow, otherwise you're stuck somewhere for 6 hours.
So this is kind of just starting to show a little bit more of an example of what you walk over most of the time and around. The dead seaweed, and in that seaweed there is millions and millions of flies.
Billions.
Yeah.
And they stink, and it all smells bad.
But it's fun, it's beautiful, it's so...
It's not nori snacks. Like, I love that. This is not nori.
Gloves are awesome to have on this section because of the rocks and barnacles and all the ropes and ladders, so highly recommend it. And we got to a point and we were waiting for our friend Justin to show up, and this was our last camp on trail. Some of this is at Norwegian camp, and people had decorated with junk that they had found up the beach. We took shelter and actually had a moment to relax. And the next slides are going to be.
So before he starts this next section, we're going to close. This is the closing, and it's we put a song that Matt just found him recently and really liked, so we incorporated it in with some music. But just towards the end, I had a moment where I was thinking about grief and through hiking and how they kind of seem like they're alike, and I thought, why would I think that? Like, how are they alike? So I was like thinking about it, and it's a transformative journey that involves navigating challenges and personal growth while you're on the trail, and you have to find ways forward even when the path is tough. You get to discover like that inner strength and resilience, and they both emphasize the importance of one step at a time.
I've been living on the road, made a buck of my soul. I've been singing stories to the crowd. It's been a while since I've been home. I think about you every night, wonder what it would have been like if I stuck around and settled down, maybe in another life. So if I fly too far, will I still have a place inside your heart? And when you sleep, will I be calm? Will you love me for who I am, not who I was? Keep me steady on the ground when my head's lost in the clouds. That spotlight, though it shines bright, can never drown you out. I know it's hard when I'm away. I just hope you don't lose faith, 'cause I told the truth when I said to you that I'll be back someday. So if I